is Jacob Bloomfield. I'm a Zukunftskolleg postdoctoral fellow. I'm also affiliated with the Department of Literature here at the University of Konstanz. I'm a historian. I specialize in cultural history, gender history, and the history of sexuality. And I'm about to come out with my first monograph, which is about the history of British drag performance between 1870 and 1970. And my newer postdoctoral project is on the reception to and cultural impact of the musician Little Richard. My definition of drag, my personal definition, which I put forward in the book, is a kind of performance that comments on gender, even if gender is not the only theme. But in the context of my book, which looks at drag in a historical context, male drag in a historical context, it is basically men wearing women's clothing for the purpose of performance, or men wearing women's clothing in the context of performance. However, now drag can mean all sorts of different things, and a drag performer can be kind of any type of person. So for instance, you have cisgender women who are drag queens. You could have cisgender men who are drag kings, non-binary people who are drag queens, drag kings, or maybe just drag artists, because maybe they're not putting on a recognizable or immediately recognizable form of masculinity or femininity. So drag today comes in all forms, and all sorts of people are doing drag, but I would still say that drag today drag performance is a commentary on gender, and it's almost always a commentary on gender in some way. The book analyzes the history of male drag performance in Britain between 1870 and 1970. And the main arguments of the book are basically that drag was a popular art form in Britain, and popular with people of all sorts of different classes, people all over Britain, people who had different cultural tastes, etc. And the second big argument of the book is that drag didn't just have one meaning. It didn't just mean sexuality, for instance. It had all sorts of different meanings for different observers and different practitioners. I'm sort of trying to analyze all the various meanings of drag throughout the book. A lot of these topics just haven't been discussed by academics or by most people, so I'm excited to raise awareness about these issues. So yeah, I give lots of credit to the Zukunftskolleg with helping me, as I said, wrap up the drag book based on my PhD thesis, and the Zukunftskolleg has also given me lots of support in moving on from that and working on my new postdoctoral project on the musician Little Richard, which will be turned into a book hopefully in a few years.